brings the crisp, clean air, the serenity to Autzen Stadium, which is anything but serene. The fans already at a fever pitch for what could be the biggest home game in the history of Oregon football. The winner will take control of the Pac-10 and make a major statement in the race for a national championship. It's the Arizona State Sun Devils, number 4 in the BCS, against number 5, the Ducks of Oregon.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Boston Market. Time for something good.
Welcome back to Eugene, Oregon. Here's some of the things you will see tonight on our ESPN broadcast. Our show menu, all the jewelry for Dennis Erickson. What does it mean? Time to talk Heisman here in the great Northwest, and a candidate that may impress you tonight. And the culinary tour continues. Todd's Taste of the Town. The weather, perfect. 55 degrees, only a slight breeze. The forecast, fair and continued reasonably good, unless you're a quarterback with a bad thumb.
Yeah. As
then
this
it's a little chilly.
Yeah, when the sun goes down, it's going to get colder and colder, and that will have something to do with Rudy Carpenter.
Weber will kick for Arizona State to Crenshaw and Stewart. Stewart, number 28, for the 3rd year in a row, the leading kick return man in the Pac-10. And we are underway from Eugene, Oregon. Stewart from the goal line. 20 to the 24 to tell us about the Ducks offense. Here's Phil Knight.
I'm here in the University of Oregon Treatment Center getting my ankles taped before the game. I sprained my ankle trying to follow Dennis Dixon's career over the last 6 months. He is the Heisman Trophy candidate and will start at quarterback today for the University of Oregon. At running back, we have Jonathan Snoop Stewart, who is the leading ground gainer in the Pac-10. The offensive line is anchored by Max Unger, All-American candidate at center, and at right tackle we have Jeff Schwartz, who was also the 3rd leading ground gainer against USC last week.
Very comforting to have a billionaire do our lineups. Phil Knight, the head of Nike. Dixon back to throw, straight down the middle, big gain on the first play to Jason Williams. Their leading receiver, and a perfect throw from Dennis Dixon.
Well, Oregon comes into this game averaging 280 yards a game rushing. So what do they do the first play? Fake the run to Stewart, set up the play action, and throw a big one down the middle of the field. The worst thing that Dennis Erickson wanted to happen to his team today was give up the easy big plays. There's one right away.
Josh Barrett, who is starting for Jeremy Payton, bit on the fake, came flying up. There was nobody left in the center of the field. Dixon again. This one is off the hands of Jason Williams, incomplete. Justin Tryon was out there on defense.
Probably the thing that impressed me the most in watching tape on Dennis Dixon this weekend. I knew he was a great runner. I knew he could make people miss and could run the football, but he is a much better thrower, a much more accurate passer than I knew of before I watched him closely on tape. Look at that, almost 70% completions coming into tonight.
An extremely talented athlete. Now he's going to take off. Not a big guy, only about 204 pounds for the Sun Devil defense. Here's Dustin Pedroia.
The defense will shut him down just like the Sox pitching staff. The front is led by Dexter Davis, who had 6 sacks as a freshman. Robert the Beast James heads the linebacking corps. And safety Troy Nolan had 5 picks this season, most by a Sun Devil since 2000.
We want to thank Dustin Pedroia for taking the time. We only had about a 5-minute window to get him to do the starting lineups, and they were rehearsing for a parade. Here's a flanker screen. It's going to go for a touchdown. Jason Williams. Perfectly executed. Mark Lewis, number 71, the right guard, got out in front and paved the way for an easy touchdown. Now they line up in a hurry. It's an odd formation, and now they will go back and kick the extra point with Matt Evanson. 76 yards in 4 plays. They made that look very basic and very simple. Dennis Dixon was perfect on the drive. Very Heisman-like to start the game. It's 7-0 Ducks. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. First down from the 43. Out of the eye to tell us about that Oregon defense, once again, Phil Knight.
On the defensive line, we have Nick Reed at right end, who was Defensive Player of the Week nationwide a month ago. And at left end, we have Will Tupuafu. The linebackers are headed up by the all-name team. Kwame Ajuman at one linebacker, and at middle linebacker, we have John Quarter Pounder with Bacon. The defensive backs are led by Matt Harper, who was Defensive Player of the Week nationwide last week for his game against USC. And pound for pound, the toughest man in the area, and Patrick Chung.
Thank you, Phil. Perfect strike over the middle again to Burgess, and Burgess takes it all the way down to the 21-yard line. A gain of 20, and Carpenter so far looks pretty sharp.
Well, he looks just as sharp as his counterpart, Dennis Dixon. It starts with protection. He gets a good pocket to step in there and throw, and underneath, ball out of his hands quickly, and good vision in the middle of the field to find Burgess.
Got that baseball kind of delivery with the loopy arm.
Yeah, a little bit of a loop. I tell you, he's a competitor. You watch him on tape, he gets knocked around. He just keeps finding ways to make plays, though.
Herring pounds his way into the line, gets a couple. Shy of the 18-yard line.
The other thing that Arizona State would hope to do in this game, they've already failed in their first defensive possession of not giving up those big explosive plays and making Oregon drive the football, but they want to possess the football. They lead the nation in time of possession coming into the game tonight, over 34 minutes. They want to wear down this Oregon defense by running the football and holding on to it for long stretches of the game.
Dimitri Nance, number 31, is in for the first time, and he'll get the carry. Nance, a big, tough kid inside the 10. 5 to the 4. First and goal, Arizona State. This is a pretty good response on the road.
Yeah, very good response, and this is their bread and butter. Again, they're a zone running team. They've got an extra tight end over there. They pull a couple linemen in front, and he does a great job of just fitting in behind those big linemen. It's a big physical front, and this Oregon defense is fast, as you mentioned, but they're not particularly stout up front against the running game.
Nance with enormous thighs, a great inside runner, very powerful even though he's only 204. Gets another carry, skips outside. About a yard and a half on that one. Willie Glasper came up from the corner to get in on the stop.
See a real contrast in offensive styles. With Oregon, it's that spread offense in the shotgun all the time, no huddle all the time. With Arizona State, it's under the center. It's run the football and the play action that comes off of their running game. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bootleg type play for Rudy Carpenter here with a run-pass option.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Nance the single setback. Nance will get it, breaks 1 tackle, but picks up virtually nothing. Dennis Erickson, who has plied his trade in both college football and the NFL, has 2 national titles to his credit. Both came at Miami. And he has revitalized this program just the way he has everywhere he's been. Nance again. Very conservative call and a very stout defensive stand by the Oregon Ducks. I was a little surprised they tried to go straight at him again.
Well, I thought they might try a little play action on second down. They thought they could slip the power run in there on third down. But credit the Oregon defense. They weren't able to stop the run out in the midfield, but when they got inside their own 5-yard line, they toughened up quite a bit.
Now to the remarkable redshirt freshman kicker, Thomas Weber, who has made every field goal attempt he has tried this year. This one a chip shot from 19. He is 16 out of 16. And Arizona State gets on the board. Both teams have scored on their opening possession. There's that fake Statue of Liberty. Dixon gets outside. Down to the 13-yard line. Picks up 6. Troy Nolan makes the tackle. They are down to about 0 depth at skilled positions. Jeremiah Johnson, outstanding running back. Cameron Colvin and Paysinger were very good wide receivers. And then you lost Tua Tele to a broken foot. He's the only one that might be able to come back for the last couple of games.
And his loss, he was a defensive player, but he was a defensive captain as well, so he misses leadership.
Crenshaw is the running back. Dixon throws incomplete. Should have been a touchdown through the hands of Jason Williams. Just got his fingertips on it.
And there you see what makes Dennis Dixon special as a thrower. He gets his feet set quick after the fake. The ball comes out quick, no wasted motion, right on the hands of Jason Williams. Jason Williams has had some problems hanging onto the football in the last couple weeks. He caught the touchdown earlier, but that was a screen pass. That one should have been his second touchdown of the game.
It sure should have. Big third down here. Dixon, it's the blitz. Stewart on a screen. Touchdown. The Arizona State defense is number 7 in the country. I don't think they've seen speed like this.
You just can't cover everything. You've got to be concerned about the quarterback running, the quarterback throwing down the field. And for the second time in this ball game, a screen pass with linemen getting out in front gets him in the end zone.
And a perfect call. They had a blitz. Guys came flying through, and the screen was perfectly set up. Dixon, 5 out of 6 so far. 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's also run for 26. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. ESPN's College Football Primetime is available on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. If you're just joining us, coming up on tonight's program, we'll tell you how Dennis Erickson's hardware helped the Sun Devils keep their eye on the prize. And Todd Blackledge will talk about the short list for the Heisman Trophy. And the culinary tour continues here in the West with Todd's Taste of the Town. Oregon has scored on its 2 previous possessions. Dixon, third down, shotgun, pressure. Look at a cut. Dixon out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
See, this is what makes him so difficult to play against. You cover all his receivers. You get pressure up the middle, which for most quarterbacks means disaster. All it means for Dennis Dixon is I've got a chance to be creative, get outside the pocket, and make a play. I mean, there's no way to defend that. If you don't get him on the ground, when you have everybody covered, you have no chance.
Dixon again has a flanker screen to Pflugrad, and Pflugrad is the son of the receivers coach, Robin, who was a pretty good receiver himself, played at Portland State with Neil Lomax. Boy, did they put up some numbers.
Yeah, sure did. And his son's a good player. I mean, he was going to redshirt this year. He's not a very big guy, 5'10", 172 pounds, but he's very smart, understands the passing game, and he makes tough catches. I mean, the first game he had to start because of the injuries against Washington, had 5 catches for 51 yards.
Dixon fakes to Stewart. Throws on the run. It's like he's throwing darts. Got that little short release and just throws it right in the numbers. Oregon now sets up shop at the Arizona State 27. Boy, has Dixon been impressive.
He has been.
Whoa.
You know, and the thing that's unique about him, and again, we talk about dual threat quarterbacks in college football. He runs like Pat White at West Virginia, but he throws better than Pat White. And he throws more like Tim Tebow. Now, those two guys are different. Tebow's a big physical guy, more of a power runner. This guy's more of a make-you-miss runner. But he is maybe the best combination of throw and run of anybody out there.
And he may have a brighter future in baseball than he does in this sport. Fake the screen right down the middle. Wide open, Jason Williams. Every fake he has pulled so far in this game has been perfect. Sucked the defense where they shouldn't go, and he's taking advantage.
He just looks so smooth, so sure of himself. Everything he's doing is so effortless looking. It's fun to watch.
Unless you're on defense.
Yeah.
Dixon with 3 touchdown passes in a little over a quarter. 9 out of 11, 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty good start. Second and 4. Nance is back at the tailback spot, replacing Herring, and Nance will get the call. Down to the 20. Let's check in with Holly Moore on Rudy Carpenter.
Well, guys, last year he was really playing under the shadow of the situation that happened when Sam Keller was named the starter, and then coach reversed that decision, and then Sam Keller ultimately transferred. Rudy never quite regained that cocky attitude of that this is his team. They were also playing under the cloud of Dirk Cutter possibly getting fired. But everybody we've talked to, his teammates have said, this is the Rudy that we fell in love with as a freshman. He feels like this is his team, and we thrive off of his attitude.
Well, last year was certainly a mess because of those coaching decisions, Holly. And he has turned it around. Carpenter on a roll to try to get to the sticks. He is right there when he's bumped out of bounds. And the mark looks like they will have a first down. The official inched his way up.
And there's where you see exactly what I said, exactly what Holly's just talking about. His personality, his temperament, that's what attracts players to him. I mean, here's a guy with a banged-up thumb, and a lot of guys maybe would take it a little easy getting to the sideline there. Try to get the first down, but not take a hit. Rudy Carpenter said, I'm going to go ahead and lower my shoulder, bad thumb or not, and try to get this first down.
One of the coaches said this is a kid with no social life. If he and his girlfriend aren't doing anything, he's watching film. They don't go out a lot. They'll stay at his place. But he just gives it everything he's got. And the Oregon defensive players that we talked to said, well, nothing stands out except he makes the plays when he has to. And that's all a quarterback needs to do, isn't it?
Well, he's coming off the field right now on this play. Looks like he had to get a new wristband with the plays. They still have 16 seconds left on the play clock, so plenty of time to get this play off. But,
pretty good job.
Must have lost it on the Oregon sideline. He better get somebody over there to retrieve it before the Ducks decipher it.
Couldn't quite pull it off. They have to burn a timeout.
Where's his wristband? Where'd it go?
Maybe they'll get a third one over there.
Maybe
we'll
the Ducks got it.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at MBUSA.com, and Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Game day was here very early, but not as early as the fans were. The Duck got an early wake-up call. even before the sun came out.
Wow. Now, I wonder, do you think it's the same duck, or do you think they use a replacement duck since it's such a long day? Like dual ducks.
An overtime duck. Carpenter.
Touchdown! What an effort by Carpenter. A late flag on the play. Well after the touchdown.
Michael Jones made the catch. Carpenter kept the play alive. And it's going to be a late hit after the touchdown, a personal foul against Oregon. And the player down is Paul Faneca, the starting right guard.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90 of the defense. That foul will be assessed on the kickoff.
That's David Tete called for the personal foul with the late hit, but what a play by Carpenter.
Stepped up in the pocket, kept his vision down the field, and found Michael Jones in the corner of the end zone for a much-needed Arizona State touchdown.
Faneca being helped off the field, limping. He's an outstanding run blocker as one of their interior linemen. All Carpenter has done in response to the fireworks of Oregon, 6 out of 6, 108 yards and a touchdown. And although he's not the big option kind of guy that Dixon is, he certainly has enough escapability to make himself very, very valuable. Weber for the point after. Knocks it through.
Kick is good by Weber.
Take a look at Rudy Carpenter again on this play. It was a play out pass. They got pressure quickly on him, and he had to step up. Here's the outside rush by Nick Reed. Steps up in the pocket, but in doing so, never took his eyes off it downfield. Great job of keeping his vision downfield and making the accurate throw to Michael Jones.
You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage.
Now, one of the arguments against Dirk Cutter in his 6 years was that he was 2-19 in his 6 seasons against top 25 opponents. Well, Dennis Erickson in his career, 27-15 against top 25, 1-0 with his win over Cal last week in his tenure at Arizona State. Another opportunity in this ball game.
He's always had a reputation as a big game coach. Dixon, who is a big game quarterback, throws incomplete, in and out of the hands of Garen Strong. And Strong was perfectly covered by Omar Bolden, who is a big-time recruit out of Los Angeles. He bypassed USC to come to Arizona State.
Beautiful job by Bolden at the end of the play, because it looks like a reception. Bolden just kept his hand in there, kept fighting for the football, and is able to pull it out for an incompletion. Outstanding effort by the true freshman.
It's great technique for a defensive back who can get his hands between the hands of the receiver. Showing blitz, they come. It's another screen. But the Arizona State defense has adjusted. Josh Barrett made that tackle, and we talked about that earlier. This team has been scored on so much early in ball games, and then somehow, you said how tough it was to adjust on the fly. Somehow they've done it.
Yep, they're doing it right now. And I think the biggest thing is they've settled into the game, and they're starting to play faster again. And that was one of their trademarks this year, is they're a fast defense. They're playing fast right now.
And Oregon was playing a little too fast. Jeff Schwartz, the right tackle, moved early.
Dead ball, false start. Number 75 offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
The other thing that you can just feel happening is this crowd at Autzen Stadium getting quieter as their offense is not nearly as explosive as they were in that first quarter. The Arizona State defense starting to pick up their pace and their confidence a little bit.
Well, they were spoiled in the first 16 minutes. Everything was perfect. Dixon again with a nice touch, has this one knocked away and incomplete.
They're anticipating, they're running to the football, they're making plays in space.
Rodney Cox got a hand on that, came flying up from the safety spot.
This is a team that coming into the game 14 interceptions to lead the Pac-10.
Cyree, punt to Williams. Good kick this time. Williams looking for a return. There was a block in the back, and that'll move him back. 46-yard punt, 2-yard return, and the penalty flag.
That was real close on that block in the back. I thought it was going to be okay. It looked like Arizona State would start with good field position again, but this will back him up.
Daniel Padilla, or excuse me, John Bacon, the middle linebacker, is the player who was slow to get up. He's acting like he had the wind knocked out of him.
Here's where the block in the back is going to occur as they're going down trying to set up this punt return. Jovan Williams just not able to get in front and get his head across, and that's where the flag came out.
There's Williams, who got close, but still looked like it got him from behind. And now Bacon gets up a little bit gimpy and a little wobbly.
As I mentioned earlier, they're already missing their captain linebacker, A.J. Tuatele. Been out with a stress fracture in his foot in the last 3 games.
Now the crowd wants its defense to respond as it's 21-13, and Arizona State takes over at its own 21. Herring. A couple. Arizona State was not picked in the top 25. They were picked in the middle of the pack. Even after Dennis Erickson was hired in December, but they have gone 8-0 for the first time in a decade. Average margin of victory, they've rolled on people. 21.3 is their average winning margin. The toughest part of their schedule is the last 4.
And Dennis said, you know, there's some uncertainty about our team with the perception out there, and rightfully so. I mean, our schedule has been very favorable to this point.
And there's Nick Reed, the defensive end who burst through. He has 2 sacks tonight and 9.5 on the year. The young man out of Mission Viejo, California, when you see him in person, he doesn't look like a defensive end, does he?
No, he doesn't. I mean, he looks a little bit like an outside linebacker, but he does know how to get to the quarterback. There was some thought that he might not play as much tonight because of the 2 tight end offensive sets of Arizona State is not really where he thrives. But in those pass situations, nobody better on this team than Nick Reed.
Guy's got a motor that doesn't stop, and the kind of player you just love to have. He's listed at 255, but that's got to be with an anvil in each hand. Dennis Dixon, one of the guys, of course, on Todd's short list for the Heisman. When we come back, we will find who else is on that short list. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. We're at beautiful Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. And it's been a great one so far, 21-13. The Ducks over the Sun Devils. Arizona State facing a 3rd and very long from its own 15. Low snap and pressure. Oregon brought the house on that one. Kwame Ajaman came through, along with Jeffrey Mayle.
One of the things Oregon thinking, there's been some problems because they had to make some switch. Paul Krula, or Zach Krula, number 78, has moved from right tackle to right guard after Paul Fanaika was hurt. That means Julius Oriukwu is now in at right tackle, number 79. He was the one that was beat on the 2nd down play So some change of assignments in this Arizona State offensive line and a couple problems protecting the quarterback.
Weber punts to Fluggrad, makes the first man miss, and then it's down to the 38-yard line. Todd, you were involved in a Heisman race when you played at Penn State. Who do you like right now?
Well, this is when I first really like to talk about it, early November. And I know as a quarterback, and I didn't do this on purpose, but my 4 guys on the short list are all quarterbacks. Matt Ryan at Boston College, who I saw last Thursday, just put on a show in the last 2 drives. And then the 3 dual threat guys. This guy, Dennis Dixon, tonight for Oregon, Tim Tebow of Florida, Pat White of West Virginia. I just think that those are the 4 most dynamic players in college football this season. I think there's a couple other guys right on the outskirts, guys like Mike Hart, guys like Darren McFadden. But those are the 4 top guys for me.
Dixon, it looked like he wanted to hold on to the ball, and Stewart had it, and then Stewart gets buried. And I'm not buying that. You know, I didn't pick the 4 quarterbacks on purpose stuff either.
I didn't. I mean, I just think that a lot of what's happened in college football now with the spread offenses and the quarterbacks being dual threat guys, they've almost taken some of the thunder away from running backs in college football. You know, Darren McFadden was the runner-up last year after a sensational sophomore season, but he hasn't had the same kind of season this year at Arkansas. And these dual threat quarterbacks have had huge years.
2nd and 13. Dixon on the keeper. About a yard shy of a first down. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, for the first time, Oregon started to really pump up Dennis Dixon for the Heisman. They bought time on game day this morning. I saw the commercial, and all it is Dennis Dixon saying, "Hi, I'm Dennis Dixon. I play for Oregon." They showed some dynamic plays, and I think basically their thinking is they don't have to take out a billboard in Times Square like they did Joey Harrington. They just have to let people see this kid play. If he can be on national television, he can get exposure to the back east people and the voters. I think they feel like his play will speak for itself, guys.
Well, Holly, certainly he's in the top 10 in just about everything in college football. There's a loose one.
It's still
loose in Arizona State. Had multiple shots at it and got it back. Troy Nolan, number 14, wanted to pick it up and run for a touchdown. He could have walked in, but he couldn't pick it up.
But he did recover it, and they took advantage of the turnover. We've seen this twice in this drive, a little bit of a situation where maybe the ball's in the stomach too long, and he's trying to make that read, and a little mishap with Jonathan Stewart, and the ball's on the ground. In the only game that Oregon lost this year to Cal, turnovers were their undoing. They had 2 interceptions in the 4th quarter. This fumble hurts right now.
That's Travis Gaethel, who had the clear shot at it, the linebacker, and couldn't pick it up. Would have had a 50-yard touchdown run. Carpenter out of the shotgun. Good protection, good pass, close to a first down. McGahey, who is the leading receiver on this ball club, averages over 14 yards a catch.
You see those trio now. It's Coach Campbell, the running backs coach, talking to both Dennis Dixon and Jonathan Stewart, and what they've done with their option. The quarterback's responsibility is to put his eyes on the defensive end. It's the running back's responsibility to make the mesh point work.
Now they'll try to get some yards on the ground with Nance, and this is an offense that runs the ball pretty well, almost 175 yards a game. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. It's 2nd and a $20 cab ride.
Arizona State going a lot out of the shotgun in this possession. Maybe trying to help the pass protection of Rudy Carpenter. Oregon continuing to bring pressure.
Blitz comes, screen. And not much for Dimitri Nance. And now look at the sideline. They are going crazy. A late flag comes in. And it looked like Jerome Boyd got in a late shot. And that's what it is. And that will be new life for Arizona State.
Yeah, because with 3rd and very long, they probably would run something very safe, punt the football, try to play defense. Now they'll get 15 yards added back. They're back into Oregon territory.
You saw the linesman shake his head. He was the closest official to it. He was saying no, no, no penalty. Another official came up and threw the flag, however. Defensive players have to be aware of where they are on the field.
First down. Wow. Big penalty.
Arizona State has used all of its timeouts. Carpenter. Boy, what a nice throw to Michael Jones. You're always talking about feet, and rightfully so. Quarterbacks have to adjust their feet. That time, he didn't. It's just a quick flick of the wrist, and he got it out there.
Well, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you can't step into a throw. Sometimes you can't get your feet in the right position, and you've got to do it with just all arm. Now, he's on the balls of his feet, so he's active with his feet. He just doesn't get them all the way around, but still able to get that ball out somehow to Michael Jones for the catch.
Perfect strike to gain 9, 2nd and a yard. Nance may have lost a yard. Injury update, here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Oregon linebacker John Bacon was examined his left knee. The initial prognosis is not looking good. They've taken him to the locker room where they'll ice him and reevaluate him. It's looking like it's a possible ACL, either sprain or tear. Guys, we'll give you more in the second half, but his replacement is Clay Matthews, a freshman. He's got a big challenge right here.
Well, that was a huge second down play because Arizona State can't just spike the ball. They've got to run third down, and the clock still runs.
Nance has the first down, still on his feet inside the 15.
Now the clock will stop until they reset the chains. Now if Arizona State wants to spike the ball, they can and huddle up. They couldn't do it on that third down play, but they can do it right now.
And they're signaling from the bench that's what they want them to do. Let's see if they're going to do it. Well, the clock's already running.
I don't know that they know what they want to do here. It looks like Rudy Carpenter wants to run a play. He's calling out protections. This is not a spike. They're going to run a play here with 30 seconds and counting, but they're taking a lot of time.
Especially just to hand it off.
I don't get that at all.
No, now you got to spike the ball.
And Dennis Erickson doesn't get it either. I'm not sure that that Rudy Carpenter was on the right page on this.
What a terrible waste of time. Look at this.
Now all they can do is hope to stop the clock and kick a field goal. No chance to even try for a touchdown, and they had over 30 seconds. If they spike the ball on first down, they're in great shape. That's Rich Olson that Dennis Erickson was talking to right there. Wow.
Well, that was awful clock management at that point.
Especially in a game where if you score a touchdown, it's a one-point game going into the locker room.
Absolutely.
Please reset the clock.
This would get them within 5 points.
Well, they're putting time back on, 6 seconds, but that's not enough time to do anything. They have to line up and kick. They just, with no timeouts, really mishandled that last 30 seconds.
Weber will try to add another field goal.
He missed one.
Finally, after 17 in a row in his first year as a place kicker, the redshirt freshman misses.
Might be a time for Arizona State to throw some kind of a screen, maybe even a wide receiver screen. Oregon, you're right, in these past situations in the second quarter and even now to start the third, a lot of pressure against the pass.
4 wide receivers set. 4-man rush. Carpenter under pressure, somehow got away, then has to bring it back down and is swamped for a 2-yard loss. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I spoke with Dennis Erickson at the half for Arizona State. I asked him about that sequence right before halftime, and he said, we were trying to get the ball killed. We had a miscommunication. He said, bottom line, we've got to start playing better. We hurt ourselves there. He also said that it was very important that they score. He said, we're not going to win this game if we keep coming down and kicking field goals. We've got to keep up with these guys touchdown for touchdown. He said the things that they've made adjustments with, though, are things they started doing in the second half. He said, we made those adjustments in the second quarter. We started doing things right on defense, and we just got our kids to believe and play hard and continues doing those same things.
Okay, Holly, they may have to take more chances here in the second half. Perhaps going for it on 4th down. If they're in this situation, they'll blow this
Dead
play
ball.
dead.
False start. Number 78 offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
That's Zach Krula, who was injured in the first half, or excuse me, who moved over to take over for Faneca at guard from tackle in the first half. Called for that penalty. Reed, 2 plays ago, got a half a sack. He has 2.5 in this game.
I'll tell you what, he's a hard guy to block, too. I mean, he plays with good leverage. He's quick off the ball. And in these situations, pure pass, 3rd and 17, he's pretty tough for one guy to handle.
3-man rush this time. Carpenter throws underneath and got it to his tight end, Brent Miller, but for a minimal gain. Covered extremely well by the secondary. Willie Gaspar made the tackle. And now they will bring Carpenter off the field, and they will go for a 50-yard field goal. This kid, the ball just explodes off his foot. Made 2 out of 3 tonight, 17 out of 18 in his first year as the kicker. Plenty of distance and accurate. Well, what a find.
Yep, great story. He broke his right leg as a soccer player in high school in 2005. Rehabbed it, was going to Michigan State, ended up at Arizona State, and he just nailed a 50-yarder.
You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. 4-man rush. Wonderful protection for Carpenter. Still nowhere to go. Keeps the play alive and throws incomplete. McGahey actually had enough yardage for a 1st down, and now there's a penalty marker.
Well, I think Carpenter was over the line of scrimmage when he threw the football. I mean, I thought he was going to run it. It probably would have been a better decision to just go ahead and run. But
That's what it is.
Yeah, he was across the line of scrimmage when he let go of the football. That time, Oregon opted to go with a 4-man rush and play coverage. 7 guys dropping into zone. All the white shirts are covered. Carpenter buys time, but still nowhere to go with the football. And right here, he should have just tucked it and run and got whatever he could.
Boy, and that was very, very close, too. Big moment here for Weber. He'll punt to Pflugrad, who's waiting at the 40-yard line. Oregon anticipating tremendous field position. And they have 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Now they back off a little. Pflugrad driven all the way back to midfield. Looking for a block, can't find one.
Good kick, good coverage by Arizona State.
It was exactly when they had to have it. 3-yard return on a beautiful 47-yard kick.
You know, the other thing I think that we might have to see with Oregon is you look, only 53 yards rushing tonight. Jonathan Stewart has not been much of a factor in this game. Only 7 carries, 24 yards in the first half. I think they've got to find a way to get him more involved in this offense. He comes into tonight averaging 130 yards a game. Has been somewhat of a non-factor so far this evening.
Dixon from the shotgun, 1st and 10. Blitz coming. Option toss to Crenshaw. Davis made the tackle. Think about this. With LSU losing, number 3, they go down. These teams are 4 and 5. They're going to. The winner of this game is going to move up at least 1 to number 3 in the country, and maybe further than that.
Well, and Boston College playing a game tonight against Florida State that many people believe they're going to struggle to win.
This game is getting bigger and bigger as the night rolls along. That will be a 1st down for Oregon.
And when you talk to Dennis Erickson, when you talk to Craig Bray, the defensive coordinator at Arizona State, one of the things that makes defending Dennis Dixon so difficult is the guy lined up next to him, Jonathan Stewart. I mean, he's an outstanding runner in his own right, and you can't just focus all your attention on the quarterback because they got a tailback that can beat you too.
Here goes Stewart. 15, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Stewart, a combination of speed and power.
A very quiet first half for Jonathan Stewart. You got to get him involved in the game. Give him the rock. He breaks tackles. He's got an elusiveness in the open field and the strength to run through arm tackles. What a drive for Jonathan Stewart.
He has tried to take fewer hits this year because he was so banged up at this point late last season. But he didn't shy away from contact on that one. Cut it back inside and pulled his way in for the touchdown. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. Three-man rush this time. The throw underneath. They got almost all the yardage back. It's to the 36-yard line. And this is that in-between territory
I think they'll go for it here,
where they might be able to go for it with not even thinking about it.
I just don't think they can settle for field goals anymore. They've got to try to match some of the touchdowns with Oregon.
That was Kerry Taylor with only his 6th catch of the year.
They've been a great running football team, a powerful offensive line, even though they lost their starting right guard, Vaneika. Still need to run the football here for the first.
And they have been very good on 4th down. 75% conversion rate. Nance. Boy, Nance has tried to pick his way. About the last 5-6 times he's carried the ball instead of just lowering his shoulder and firing in there. Walter Thurman was the guy who was firing, came in off the corner to get the first hit.
Walter Thurman coming into the game, 72 tackles, second on the team from his corner position. Last week in their big win here over USC, they fumbled the opening kickoff. USC got it on the 21 and went for it on 4th and 1. And Oregon stuffed them, and that sent a message for the whole game. Another huge play on 4th down this week for the Duck defense.
4th and a yard, don't you want to see the guy just slam it up in there? And now this is a point where an offensive team can just step on your throat and try to put the hammer down out to the 40. Dixon had such a brilliant start. Tough to keep up the kind of pace he was on. He'd have had 12 touchdown passes by now if he had. Only 2 out of 7 in the second half for 4 yards. It is so unfair that a quarterback on the West Coast, or any player on the West Coast who's going to contend for All-American honors or Heisman honor, gets so few opportunities to be seen all across the country. He's got to perform well in the right game at the right time on the right stage.
Right.
Where guys on the East Coast and the Midwest are going to get multiple opportunities. He has it. Now he faces a 3rd and 5. Blitz coming. They pick it up. And once again off the hands of Jason Williams. That's 3 catchable balls.
That one was the hardest of the 3 because it was a little bit high. He's 6'5", but this ball is about 6'8", and he had to go up for it, but he did get both hands on it. And again, this is a guy who confidence-wise is hurting a little bit. But Dennis Dixon knows he's my guy. I got to keep him up. I got to keep throwing it to him.
I don't know. Isn't there a point where you say, I don't know if you're my guy anymore?
Yeah.
Of course, with all the injuries, they said, as you pointed out earlier, they don't have that many. Coming back, Todd's Taste of the Town continues from the Pacific Northwest. I've got a feeling that granola and trail mix are not on the menu. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. One of these teams will face the ultimate disappointment tonight because they will be out of any possibility of a national championship. And right now, it's Arizona State that has its back to the wall as Oregon gets into their first down at the 44-yard line.
Well, you see how much respect Arizona State has for Jonathan Stewart. Watch the defense all react to the fake to Stewart. And then that leaves Dixon one-on-one out here. He makes the option pitch. A good block by a wide receiver. Actually, Ed Dixon, number 83, leading that play. But the respect for Jonathan Stewart opened it up nicely for Crenshaw.
Arizona State can ill afford to give up another touchdown. A field goal, they would still be within hailing range. Stewart, nice cutback. Yeah. Inside the 35 to the 31. That's just sheer power. Gethel and Barrett make the tackle, but Stewart at 5'11", 230 is a load.
You mentioned the good cutback. I mean, that's a play that can hit a lot of different places. Just a basic zone play. He saw a lane, made a quick decision to cut inside, and made a big play out of it.
Stewart has 74 yards rushing tonight. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Jonathan Stewart has had an unusual training technique to help him see those back lanes a little bit better this year. His running back coach, Gary Campbell, started this laser training where he will watch a red laser point go around the room. It's to train the eye muscles to improve his peripheral vision. And, guys, Jonathan Stewart really thinks it worked. And Mike Bellotti was hilarious when he said, you know, maybe he would have run through the wall before, but now maybe he'll see the door and run through the door instead.
Well, 74 yards tonight. He is 14 yards short of number 5 all-time in Oregon history rushing the football, and that's Bobby Moore, who then changed his name to Ahmad Rashad. Good defensive play by Omar Bolden. This kid is quite a talent. He is a true freshman out of Los Angeles, and he has tremendous corner skills.
He's got that kind of swagger and confidence that you have to play corner, especially in a conference like the Pac-10 where the offenses are so good and they throw the football so well on the West Coast. I mean, you better be a pretty confident young guy to go out there and play corner out on an island. I mean, look at this. That's an island out there. There's no help.
3rd and 3. Here comes pressure. Dixon's got a lot of room. First down and out of bounds. There's just so many ways he can burn you.
Well, the rush lanes were a little undisciplined, coming too far inside, and that just left an edge for Dennis Dixon. That's an easy read for him. Watch the rush lanes come too far inside, and that just tells Dennis Dixon, I've got a lot of grass out here in front of me. There's nobody outside and contain. That's an easy first down for me to get.
If the ends don't hold up outside, this guy can run it every time, and a threat to go all the way every time he runs. This will be the last play of the 3rd quarter from the 19-yard line. And Dixon is going to have to use a timeout here. Did not like the play call or the personnel that he had.
University of Oregon, number 2.5.
Timeout on the field, Oregon 28-16, and the Ducks are driving up by 12. A field goal would put them up by 15. A touchdown just might put it out of reach, even though Arizona State has had those magic comebacks this year. Evaluate Dixon's night for me. Carpenter has played well, but not well enough to get his team on top.
Well, I think you made the point earlier. I mean, it would have been impossible for Dennis Dixon to keep up the same pace that he had, that he started the game with. I mean, he would have thrown 12, 15 touchdown passes, and we would have just given him the Heisman tonight. But I think what he's done is I think he has still made plays. He's played with poise. He's made good decisions with the ball. He had the one turnover where they had a little mix-up in the mesh with the tailback and whether to hand off or pull it out to run. But other than that, I think just like last week, he's managed the game pretty well. Arizona State has made a feisty comeback. Their defense has made some plays. He hasn't lost his poise. I think he's, he hasn't put up tremendous numbers, but he's managed the offense, he's managed the game.
And what a nice kid to talk to.
Absolutely.
Very bright, very academically oriented. He lost his mom. He said he wanted to graduate in 3.5 years. He did. In her honor, kind of kid you root for. Good fake by Dixon. Again, he's wide open, throws for the end zone. Touchdown! His tight end, Dixon. Perfect throw. 4th touchdown of the night.
He just did everything right on this play. I mean, he sells the fake. He's patient on the fake. He gets his head and eyes around. Boy, that was pretty. Watch him sell the fake. Sell it, keep your eyes there, hide the ball, get your body in the right position to be accurate, and throw it with beautiful touch right over Omar Bolden for the touchdown.
Excuse me, that wasn't Dixon, that was Drew Davis. Another wide receiver, number 82, not 83. And they found somebody who was going to hold on to the football in the end zone. Ducks up big. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. Stewart picks his way down to the 40.
Take a look at the play again. It was a keep by Dennis Dixon, and he's going to get tackled. I don't think it was on the hit, but it was when he came down. Right away, he reached for that left leg. There's a twist or a bruise or what, but he was able to run off the field on his own and moving around. It appears to be pretty good on the sideline right now.
His initial reaction was what scared everybody, probably including him. Stewart with a keeper. Checking with Reese. He has a SportsCenter 30 and 30.
Third and 8.
Reese, our congratulations to the midshipmen. What a huge day for them. Penalty on this last play.
False start. Number 60 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
When Brady Leaf comes into the ballgame, and that's Max Unger, who was moved from tackle to center, has made a big difference in this offensive line. When Leaf comes in, he can throw the ball. I mean, he is your prototype pocket passer, but they can't run their offense with him.
Well, they can run part of it. I mean, he runs the option okay because he's a good decision maker. He just doesn't have the running ability when he keeps the ball that a Dennis Dixon has.
Leaf throws this one out of bounds. Well, it makes it so much easier on the defense when you know Leaf is not going to be able to outrun you for 25 yards. He may be able to pick up 5 running the option, but he's no threat to go the distance.
And that's the real problem in trying to defend Dennis Dixon is you can defend it right, you can have the perfect call, but if you don't get him on the ground, it can be a big play against you.
So they'll have to punt it away. Got some pressure on the kicker. Williams going to have to let it bounce and out of bounds inside the 5. Nice job. 43-yard punt to the sideline for our Good Hands flashback presented by Allstate. We'll take you back to September 29th of this year. The Ducks facing Cal here in Eugene. 22 seconds to go. Down by 7. Dennis Dixon to Cameron Colvin. He fumbles just short of the goal line.
Rolling on this field, stand, touchback.
And that's a heartbreaking instant replay for them. Oregon suffered its only loss of the season, a foot away from being undefeated.
And we talked about turnovers. Dennis Dixon only 3 interceptions on the year, 2 of them in the 4th quarter of that game against Cal.
Arizona State backed up.
Nice
What
throw.
a catch by Jones. What a throw by Carpenter.
You know what Jones did that was really cool? Is he waited to the last minute to put his hands up for the ball. He knew the ball was coming to him, but watch it. He's just going to kind of fool the defender a little bit. Wait. Last minute, stick the hands up and snatch the football. Beautiful throw and a nice piece of receiving by Michael Jones.
Boy, Jarris Byrd knows how to hold a jersey. He had a handful for about 15 yards. May have learned some tricks from his old man Gill, who was a great corner with the San Diego Chargers. But Byrd made the catch anyway. Carpenter dumps it off. And it's his running back, Dimitri Nance, who picks up about 6 yards. And they're going to be in a hurry-up mode right now. They have to be. They need 3 scores. Remember, Arizona State's been down by as many as 19 points this year and come back to win. Right now, they're down by 19. Incomplete. Beautifully defensed there by the linebacker Jerome Boyd as he got under Brent Miller and wouldn't let him get his hands down on the ball.
Well, here we are in another big third down situation for Arizona State. They've had some trouble protecting Rudy Carpenter in third down pass situations. They've had trouble blocking Nick Reed and picking up all the pressure.
They show blitz and come with it again. 7 men. And the pass is incomplete. There is a late flag, and Michael Jones was lobbying for it as Jarris Byrd had the coverage on him again.
So was Rudy Carpenter. After the throw, Carpenter was making a big stink too. It did look like when Jones was trying to come out of his break that Byrd did have a hold of that jersey again. And there's the holding call.
And that's an automatic first down for defensive holding.
Watch Michael Jones as he tries to come out of this break. He can't get off the hold of Byrd. And a good call. And Dad will say, hey, now, Jarris, I didn't teach you to do that. Run with him, make contact, but don't grab him.
Don't undress him.
Boy, his dad was good.
Was he, though?
San Diego Chargers, was an outstanding player.
Arizona State now in Oregon territory, 1st and 10 at the 48. Carpenter again with time, this time to the sideline, and complete. Kyle Williams has been quiet all night long. Came into this game with 24 catches, and he beat Walter Thurman.
Ball a little bit underthrown. Kyle Williams comes back for it, and he just, well, hey, nice job by Thurman not giving up on the play and sticking that left hand in there and ripping it out. I thought for sure that was going to be a catch.
So did Rudy Carpenter.
Yeah.
2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz again. They pick it up. The pass is too high for McGahey. Time after time, they have gotten the blitzers to the line of scrimmage just at the moment of the snap. That time it was delayed a little bit. But they've timed it out pretty well tonight.
Arizona State only 2 of 11 on third down, coming into the game 43%.
This time they rush 3, drop 8. The pass is incomplete to McGahey. Excellent coverage by Walter Thurman. It'll be 4th down and no sign to the punt team. They need 3 scores. There's only 9:43 to go. Dennis Erickson knows when to gamble, and this is it. Fourth and 10. Good pickup, and Carpenter throws McGahey with a catch to the 15-yard line. What a throw.
Nice job by Dimitri Nance, number 31, picking up the blitz. They brought pressure from Rudy Carpenter's right. Watch Dimitri Nance work with his offensive line up here and pick up the pressure, allowing Rudy Carpenter to step up and make the throw. Good job by the back, working with the 5 linemen, and Rudy Carpenter delivers a strike on 4th down.
Well, McGahey's a good hands catcher.
Yep.
That was a play Arizona State had to have. Carpenter can't find anybody. Now he throws for the end zone, and it's intercepted by Walter Thurman III. The receiver broke off the pattern, went short. Carpenter threw long, and Carpenter is really upset at whoever he was throwing that ball to. That may have been the last nail in the coffin of Arizona State's perfect season. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead our coverage.
IBM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 14, Hugh Green. Named to Street and Smith Magazine's all-decade team, this Pittsburgh defensive end won the Maxwell and Walter Camp Awards, which no defensive player had ever done before. Green's 1980 season led to the most Heisman Trophy votes ever for a purely defensive player. IBM, getting it done.
He was a man playing with boys. He was.
Well, fortunately for me, I only had to play against him one time. In 1980, his senior year, I was a starting quarterback at Penn State. That was our arch rival, and he was scary. And the problem playing against them is if you put too much attention on him, the other guy on the other side was Ricky Jackson, who ended up being a great NFL defensive end as well. I mean, the combination of those two guys, that defense was devastating.
Late fair catch signal at the 23. 3 times an All-American, finished second in the Heisman, and you've got to be an unbelievable defensive player to get that. Inducted into the College Hall of Fame in '96. He's number 14 on the list, 13 through number 3. Next Saturday through the end of the regular season. And then at the Capital One Bowl and the Rose Bowl, both presented by City, you will see number 2 and number 1. And there is Dennis Dixon with a smile on his face, talking to his backup quarterback, Leaf. And Dixon is probably done. There will be no reason to get him back into this ballgame. Carpenter underneath. And they'll pick up 11 yards on first down. Here's Holly.
Guys, this kid's impressive on the sideline. Dennis Dixon, after that last series, goes out, clear out on the field, congratulates every one of the offensive linemen, tries to just get their spirits up, make sure they know they're still doing a good job. And now here he is over here in Leaf's face, giving him encouragement. It's really neat to see him really staying involved and just the presence he brings to his teammates.
Well, Holly, when we met with him, the kid's got a tremendous personality. Nice catch by Jones. Keeps his balance down to the 11-yard line. This guy's made some big-time plays tonight. That time he beat Thurman, and he's very relaxed. When the ball gets there, he's ready to catch it.
He doesn't have a whole lot of separation, but Rudy Carpenter throws it perfectly out over the outside shoulder. He wards off the defender. A little bit of a push. And then gets to the football, but a perfectly thrown ball by Carpenter.
Arizona State obviously needs to score in a hurry, down 3 possessions. Carpenter for the end zone. Touchdown! That ball was thrown short to Miller. The defender, the middle linebacker, Casey Matthews, never saw it. Miller literally reached right over top of it.
Well, remember, Matthews in for the injured John Bacon, a true freshman. He was in good position, but you're right, never saw the football, and a good quarterback knows throw that right past his ear if he never looks around. There's John Bacon on the sideline in street clothes, and Casey Matthews had one thrown right past him.
334 yards passing for Carpenter. Very surprised they did not go for 2 in that point. They went for the extra point. We'll talk about it when we come back. You're watching ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on the Oregon Ducks from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. Due to time constraints, we move ahead in our coverage. Cyree to punt. Will they come after him? No, they'll peel back for a return. Williams
hit the defender.
Monday Night Football on ESPN. It's the Ravens and the Steelers. A couple of really good defenses. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7 with Monday Night Countdown. And I don't think there's anything in defensive football that's any more fun than watching the Ravens, led by Ray Lewis. He always says he tackled with his eyes wide open because he wanted to see how much he hurt the other guy. And he did every time. The Ravens need to win, not to drop back to 500. Arizona State looking for another miracle. Complete to the side. No, dropped right in the hands of Michael Jones. He couldn't hold it. Would have been couldn't hold it. Would have been a gain of 15 yards. Perfect throw from Carpenter.
Nice job by Carpenter, buying some time, throwing on the run, and that's a case of a receiver more concerned about his feet than his hands and doesn't make the catch.
That last Oregon drive, by the way, only took 1:03 off the clock. That's not good clock management.
And Arizona State only had to use one of their 2 timeouts.
They show blitz and they bring it. Carpenter in trouble, and guess who? Nick Reed, 3.5 sacks tonight. Well, he may not look like a defensive end, but he plays like one.
Well, again, when he knows it's pass, and here he is, he's going to just work an inside move. Again, he's working against the right tackle, Julius Oriukwu. Goes right by him, gets to the quarterback, and he knows what to do when he gets there.
3rd and 17. You don't have to get it all back on one, but another blitz. They wanted to throw it early. Carpenter down the middle, and somehow it's caught. Holy cow! The tight end, Tyrese Thompson. He fumbles the ball, and Oregon has it. Willie Glasper got the ball. It was a miracle catch. It looked like it was going to be picked off, and somehow it got through.
Well, absolutely. It looked like an interception all the way. Matthew Harper, who had 2 a week ago, went for the interception, missed it.
And they're going to look at this.
Yeah. Was he down before the ball came out? They ruled it a fumble, so it can be reviewed. It was coming out before he hit the ground, it appears. Reaching and fighting for extra yardage, and just lost control of the football.
And his knee never hit because he was on top of a tackler. How huge was that? I mean, you're in chip shot field goal territory. I'll check it. They didn't go for 2, so a field goal is not going to help them.
One thing I'll say about this Oregon defense is they are pretty opportunistic. I mean, they give up yards. You know, they can't just stand up and man for man body you and push you around the field.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Oregon.
Carpenter threw it up there. It looked like Matthew Harper, number 20, had a shot at the interception. Here is the fumble.
Yeah, good work by the officials. Ball clearly coming out as he was on his way to the ground.
And Willie Glasper makes the recovery. Would have been a huge play for Arizona State. Would have set them up for a chance to get a touchdown. that would have made it a one-possession game. No more. And they only have one timeout left. Leaf will keep on the option. Slides and got nailed for his trouble by the linebacker Travis Gaethel. Crowd wants a flag. The quarterback is supposed to be untouchable if he slides.
Well, that's the basic zone read play. That's the basic staple of this offense. Quarterback reads the defensive end, and it could have been a helmet-to-helmet is what they could have called. Whether it was late or not, helmet-to-helmet for sure.
One or the other, that justified 15, and that's why Leaf was up talking to the official. Leaf will keep it again. Slides in safely. They don't even want to risk the handoff right now. It's smart play calling. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, for the second week in a row, this Oregon defense has been key. The defensive coordinator, Nick Aliotti, told them a story in their seminar to kind of get them up to speed and get them excited for this game. He talked about the 1980 USA hockey team, the huge upset they had over Russia, the miracle game. But that wasn't the gold medal game. What he said to them is, if you lose to Finland, the championship game, you'll regret it for the rest of your lives. He shared that story with them, said, hey, the win against USC won't mean anything if we don't come out and perform tonight. And guys, they really have.
Holly, I'm not sure you could see the motions that Nick was making there, and we're looking at each other up here like, what's he doing? He's milking milk the clock.
Milk the clock.
I got it.
And he's right next to Chip Kelly, who's the offensive coordinator. Nick's the defensive coordinator, and he's saying, hey, let's milk the clock here. I don't want my guys to even have to come back on the field again.
Arizona State with its last timeout. Phil Knight, one of the big benefactors of Oregon athletics, what it means to him to be able to donate to his university.
Well, it's obviously meant a lot since it's been, my major contribution charity-wise to date. And obviously that if I had not run on the University of Oregon track team, where there would be no Nike, and whoever you looked at on camera would certainly be an entirely different person. So to be able to give back to that university has made me feel great.
And our thanks to Phil Knight for taking the time to do the lineups for the Oregon Ducks tonight.
Well, I think that guy right there, even though he didn't play here much in the fourth quarter, didn't need to. I think Dennis Dixon is right up there in the Heisman race. I mean, I think it's still wide open, but I think he is clearly one of the top 2-3 guys, at least in my eyes, of anybody. A dominant type player, very difficult to defend.
Well, if you take a look at what he did in the first quarter plus a minute in the second quarter, he was absolutely spectacular. You can't ask a quarterback to do any more than he did.
Well, and then what the other thing that he did, even though, again, his completions and yardage were not huge numbers, he did set a career high with 4 touchdown passes. But it's not just about the numbers. It's about his presence.
You're right.
It's about his leadership. It's about his managing the game. And for the second week in a row against a ranked quality opponent, last week USC, this week Arizona State, he managed the game. And Oregon, it never felt like Oregon was out of control of this game.
Leaf. Arizona State in the BCS standings was number 4. Oregon was number 5. So they're going to move up at least 1 slot. The remaining schedule for the Ducks, Arizona, UCLA, Oregon State, they've got a chance to run the table, be 12-1. Boston College continues to trail Florida State. They are second ranked in the polls. Clock running, 22 seconds. 4th and 3. Here's the delay of the game penalty.
It's a special place up here at Oregon. It's been a long time since I've been up here for a game. A lot has changed. Mike Bellotti, the last time I was here, was an offensive coordinator under Rich Brooks. Now he's in his 13th year as the head coach. Winningest coach in Oregon history, bowl games in 12 seasons of his 13 years. And one of the things that really is special about his staff is 5 of his coaches have been here at least 15 years or more. I mean, there's a lot of guys that Oregon football has been a major part of their lives for a long period of time. And that continuity, that strength on that staff, I think is a big factor in their overall success.
And in the history of this program, they have had some major quarterbacks. Norm Van Brocklin was the first big-time guy. Our own Dan Fouts.
Yep.
And Dixon, they don't want him rushed by the fans. He's going to get to go to the locker room so his knee doesn't get tweaked before this thing is over. That's a smart move, too. Because they'll be coming out of the stands in just a second. Last gasp for Carpenter in Arizona State. Down Carpenter goes. And it's another sack, the 9th of the game. Tuku Afu got the sack. And Oregon has done it at home.